Hey, what's going on, guys? Archer Mark here, back with another action figure review. And not just an action figure review, but a Star Wars action figure review. And it's been a long time since we've seen good new Star Wars items on the peg shelves, on the store peg shelves. And it's just been a long gap for many of you, as many of you know. It's been neat, time to pick up some other things from other lines, or maybe pick up some older items on eBay or Amazon or what have you. But we've been really wanting to get some new Star Wars items, and as soon as this Black Series was announced, people got very excited and couldn't wait for this to come out. We're very interested to see what this line of figures was going to be. So two versions. Obviously, we have the standard that we're used to, the 3 3/4, and something new, and that's the 6-inch version of action figures, which is just something that there's never been before in Star Wars toy line before. Obviously, lots of other toy lines have done 6-inch versions of their characters, but never with Star Wars. So this was kind of an interesting thing. It's been interesting to see the reaction to this line and to what the figures look like, and people seem to be really enjoying them. So I'm going to start with the one 6-inch figure that I do have, which is the Luke Skywalker in his X-Wing pilot gear. And right off the bat, I'm very, very pleased with what Hasbro did with this figure. I think they did a really great job with it. But we're going to move him over to the side for a moment. Give you a look at the packaging. There you see on the front the Star Wars, the Black Series, and you get this little headshot, little black and white image of Luke Skywalker. In the background, you have these like sort of orange kind of lights, and of course you can see the inside is the cardboard lining, the cardboard insert with the plastic tray, and where the figure and the accessories all sit. And then down here you see figure number 1, Luke Skywalker, ages 4 and up, warning, drinking hazard, the Hasbro logo. There's very, very little color. It's just that little bit of orange. The majority rest of the box is all in black, hence the Black Series. And it's very plain. It's very basic. There's nothing on this side. It's just clear on here. You have the same images on the top. See Star Wars, the Black Series, and the Luke image. On the back, we have, again, those sort of like orange strips here. Kind of look like lighting. And again, Star Wars, number 1, Luke Skywalker. Very, very minimal bile here. Luke Skywalker uses the power of the Force and his piloting skills to destroy the Death Star. And we have this little quote. It'll be just like Beggar's Canyon back home, which Luke would say to Biggs in the hangar. And you have this second image of Luke. Again, very simple, basic black and white image as he's climbing up the ladder to his X-Wing fighter. And, the usual, StarWars.com, Hasbro, all that kind of stuff. Just not a super huge fan of this packaging. It's just, I don't hate it, but I certainly don't love it. It's just, it just doesn't pop for me. Doesn't really do it for me. But that's, I guess that's to help keep the costs down. And, of course, the figures are the more important thing. So that's enough about the packaging. We're going to get on to what we all want to see, and that's the figures. Okay, so this is, of course, Luke Skywalker, and I think they did a really good job with the face sculpt. And he's here in his bright orange pilot gear. And we'll do the usual up and down 360 that I do typically with my figure reviews. And you got all the little details. Obviously, with a 6-inch scale, it's a little easier to get more details in there. You have this great kind of like almost like a black wash kind of over the jumpsuit to sort of give a little little bit of more detail. So you got all the little, a little bit of wear. You got all the kind of like wrinkles and folds. The sculpting of the vest here, this top portion, little buckles there, very nicely done. I really like the head sculpt and the way they sculpted the hair, and even you can see sort of almost like different shades of paint, sort of different. The way his hair looks is just sort of make it look a little more, even more realistic. They got all the little details done, like on the control panel on the front there, and all his little things that he has on the sleeve there, and this little badge here on the lower part of the arm. And you just go into the belt, like you could see the sculpting, just little things that they did that you wouldn't really be able to do in a smaller scale figure, at least not as well. And you can really see all the little pockets, even though it's all orange. They did a great job. You could see all the little pockets and whatnot. Okay. We'll go over the articulation real quick. We have like a bulge on the neck, and he does have, so you can see there's sort of like a hinge that you can see, almost like a ratchet type hinge. But if you have it facing head on, you're not going to see it, but you do have that. Bulge on his shoulders, bulge elbows. You have the swivel in the wrist, and also you have the hinge articulation that we've seen in the past with other figures, with the up and down movement here and the backwards and forwards hinge on this glove. You have bulge jointed hips, but it is very much hindered by these straps. I mean, these straps are kind of necessary. They're part of the pilot gear, so they had to put it in. It's just kind of an unfortunate thing that it hinders the movement a decent amount, but you could still move it enough to get in the positions that you need. You have a double hinge joint in the knees, and you have hinge articulation in the ankles as well. And it's kind of a double. You have the usual like hinged ankle movements that we're used to, but then you have this sort of like in and out, almost like a double hinge. So figures move like that, and so you really got a great range of articulation in the ankles and the feet, so you can really get them in some great poses. And so pretty good articulation, not overly articulated. Also a bulge jointed torso as well, before I forget that. So a lot of good articulation. It's not overly articulated, and sometimes I think that can be a downfall of a figure sometimes. So very well articulated. I like that. Great sculpting, the paint details. Also, another thing, something that's not always done as well in other lines or other figures, is the hinge joints. As you can see, they are painted the same color, still have that orange color, and they did a better job of trying to blend the hinge joints in with the rest of the figure, on the shoulder and the elbow and the knee specifically. You could still see them somewhat, but they're much better hidden than we've seen other figures in the past, other lines, where their hinges are a different color, and they just show up like even more, so they stand out, and they did a much better job of trying to do that. Some things that we haven't always seen in the past, so that's a great thing there. Accessory wise, he comes with 3 really great, very well done accessories. I'm going to start with his blaster pistol. As you can see here, standard kind of hero Luke Han blaster pistol that we're used to seeing, but it's very nicely sculpted, nice little paint additions, the silver on the barrel and the brown on the handle. It's just very nice. And it fits really well in his right hand. You can probably fit it in both hands, but I've been putting it in the right hand. The right hand is very much sculpted as the trigger finger. You put it in, and that one finger lays right on the trigger, so it just fits really nicely, really just the way it should be. The second accessory, of course, one of the most important things for any young Jedi is, of course, you need the lightsaber. And he has a nice blue bladed lightsaber. And again, the standard kind of Luke Skywalker lightsaber hilt that we've seen in other scales, but it's very well sculpted, and paint details, all the little details they got there, with the gold, a little bit of gold there on the switch, and you got the red button there and the black on the handle. As you see there, nicely done, all the little knobs and whatnot. Okay, and one thing that you'll notice here is you have a little loop, and that is used to hang from on the belt. The blade, which I didn't realize this at first, but the blade is removable, and you just take that out and it just pegs out. It's not too tight or too loose. It stays in real well. And this hooks onto, there's a little hook right there. So that's really cool. So you could have the blaster in his hand and hang the lightsaber hilt from his belt there if you wish. And then you have the last item, the last accessory is his pilot helmet. And they did an amazing job with this, getting all the little paint apps, and you have the Rebel symbol there, of course. You got a little red, a little yellow, gray, black, white. You have these sort of like yellowish goggles fixed to the top there. Of course, the chin strap. And getting the little wear and kind of dirt on the helmet. It's, you know, a little bit of rub. It's been worn, you know. So great detailing, great sculpting and painting on the helmet, and it fits really nice on his head. You know, it's a little fiddly to get on, so I'm not going to do it on camera, but it fits very nicely. It's not too loose, it's not too tight. You know, just kind of push it down. You get the chin strap underneath, and then you can just kind of maneuver the goggles in the right position in front of the eyes. But it fits really well, and it's, like I said, not too loose, not too tight, it's just right. Okay. So yeah, in general, really great job with this figure. Not sure if I'll pick up the other 6-inch figures. This is the one that I really cared about having. So yeah, that's about it. I've shown you everything. Great articulation, paint apps, great accessories, very well done. This is the 6-inch Star Wars Black Series Luke Skywalker in pilot gear. Hope you enjoyed this review. And, you know, as usual, comment, rate, subscribe. And until my next video, may the Force be with you.